And welcome welcome good afternoon and welcome to the Children of the Sun radio program here on WSTX AM 970, the soul of the Caribbean. Welcome, good afternoon, and welcome to the Children of the Sun radio program here on WSTX AM 970, the soul of the Caribbean, a show dedicated to positive energy from a fifth dimensional point of view. I'm your host, Sacred Breath teacher Ray Bratcher, and as most of you probably know, I've been dedicating our time together recently to a special project, sharing Mike Brock's notes on the crisis with you. But I want to lay aside that special project today because today is a special Friday for me personally. So I want to share some deeply personal reflections that arise for me this special Friday. Special because tomorrow, Saturday, is No King's Day, and then Sunday is Palm Sunday. I come before you today not I come before you today not merely as a citizen, but as a Christian mystic who loves Jesus, and as a patriot who loves the fragile, beautiful idea of this country. I come speaking before you on a Friday that feels like the world is holding its breath. Today is Friday, March 27th. Tomorrow is Saturday, March 28th, No King's Day. The day after that is Sunday, March 29th, Palm Sunday. And we stand at the intersection of a political crisis and a spiritual crossroads. We stand today, in the long shadow of a Friday that feels like a permanent eclipse. We gather at a moment when the air itself is heavy with the scent of a conflict we did not choose, authorized by a signature that lacks the constitutional authority to write a grocery list, let alone a death warrant for a generation. Today, I want to share some personal reflections, not as a partisan, but as a lover of truth. We are living through a dark night of the soul as a country, but as any mystic will tell you, the darkness is not the end. It is the place where the new life begins to stir. The people will be gathering tomorrow for No King's Day, and they will be gathering in a rising tide. I mean, just look at where we began. Last June on the first No King's Day, 5 million of us stood up. In October, that number swelled to 7 million. And tomorrow is expected to be the largest single-day demonstration in the history of the United States. Why? Because the people have reached a breaking point. The Trump regime has moved beyond policy disagreements and into the realm of the unacceptable. We are witnessing the systematic dismantling of the American experiment. We stand at the intersection of our civic duty and our sacred calling. We are here because the American middle class is being offered as a burnt sacrifice on the altar of a false messiah's ego. We are here because the least of these, the immigrant shivering in a cell, the mother staring at an unaffordable carton of eggs, the soldier deployed to an illegal war in Iran, are being trampled by a movement that carries the cross only to use it as a cudgel. Now, we must name the particulars, for the truth is found in the details. And I'm calling these the 12 Pillars of Tyranny. This administration has, 1, asserted absolute legal immunity, claiming that a president is a god above the law, untouchable even by the crimes they commit in office. 2, made massive use of executive orders, governing by decree, bypassing the people's representatives to rule like a monarch. 3, targeting political opponents for retribution, turning the high offices of this land into a personal weapon of vengeance. Asserting control over the Justice Department, ending the independence of the law to ensure it serves the man, not the truth. Demanding loyalty test, replacing public servants with sycophants who serve a person rather than a constitution. Using foreign policy for personal deals, trading our national security for personal gain, ignoring court orders, treating the judiciary as a nuisance to be brushed aside. The Save America Act, a bill that wears a crown of voter integrity but hides the dagger of voter suppression. It is an attempt to make it impossible for the most vulnerable to cast a ballot, the poor, the elderly, and the 69 million women whose birth certificates don't match their married names. 9. The Praetorian Guard. This is the most chilling development of all. Masked, unidentified paramilitary soldiers, a paramilitary force that answers only to the leader. They ignore the Fourth Amendment. They snatch people from the streets. They have disappeared residents to concentration camps in El Salvador, places of horror like the Sikot prison. They have shot and killed our own citizens in the streets of our cities, like Renee Good and Alex Pretty in Minneapolis and Keith Porter in Los Angeles. And some 40 people have died in ICE detention just since 2025, marking the highest mortality rate in over 2 decades. 10. The assault on NATO, threatening to abandon our allies and dissolve the post-World War II peace, leaving the world vulnerable to autocrats and inviting chaos into the heart of Europe. 11. The Greenland affair, treating the sovereign territory of a peaceful ally like a real estate play, and threatening to attack and invade Greenland, and threatening diplomatic and economic consequences when Denmark refused to sell their heritage to satisfy a kingly ego. And finally, the 12th pillar, the trade wars on allies, launching aggressive, chaotic tariffs against our closest partners in Europe, Canada and Mexico, shattering the trust required for a stable world economy and driving up your grocery bills for the sake of dominance. And what has this king done with his power? He has ignited a ring of fire around the globe. He has launched interventions in Venezuela and Somalia, the attacks on the Houthis, the renewed strangulation of Cuba, and he aids and abets the horrific destruction in Gaza and the West Bank, turning a blind eye to the cries of the innocent. But maybe most egregious is the illegal, unconstitutional war against Iran. Under Article 1, Section 8 of our Constitution, the power to declare war belongs to Congress and Congress alone. By launching Operation Epic Fury without a vote from the people's representatives, Trump has committed a high crime against the Republic. He has treated our soldiers like his personal mercenaries. And let's look at the betrayal of February 2026. Just last month, Iran came to the table with a concession that stunned the diplomatic world: zero enrichment. They were willing to dismantle the very heart of their sovereign nuclear program, a total surrender of the nuclear cycle. The peace was there, the ink was ready, and yet, while the Iranian negotiators sat at the table in Geneva and Oman thinking they were negotiating in good faith, Trump and Israel launched a massive, unprovoked attack in the middle of the night. And now we are paying the price, not him. This is not just a strategic failure. It is a direct assault on the supreme law of the land. Under Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, the power to declare war belongs to Congress and Congress alone. The framers of our republic were terrified of the executive sword. They knew that if one man could plunge a nation into blood without the consent of the people's representatives, we would no longer be a republic but an empire. By bypassing the War Powers Resolution and ignoring the necessity of congressional approval, Trump has committed a high crime against the very foundation of our democracy. He has treated our soldiers like his personal mercenaries and our Constitution like a scrap of paper. James Madison warned us that the power to declare war is the most oppressive of all kingly prerogatives. And by seizing it, Trump has declared himself king in all but name. By attacking while the white flag of diplomacy was being waved, Trump didn't just break a deal, he broke the concept of international trust. Now Iran will never trust us again. Almost no one in the world trusts the word of the United States now, not even our allies. We have become a rogue state under a lawless king. And for what? For what? Europe is destabilized. Our economy is crashing. Well, for what? Some say the for what was solely to distract from the Epstein files. Operation Epic Fury or Operation Epstein Fury. And we are paying the price. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. The arteries of the global economy are being choked. Your groceries are unaffordable and your gas prices are skyrocketing because of an unprovoked war and Operation Epstein Fury. And now he threatens the midterm elections. He threatens to station his private ICE Praetorian Guard at the polling places for the midterms. He confiscates ballot boxes. He tries to force the Save America Act to rig the game. It is clear he cannot win a fair fight, so unpopular has he become. So he intends to steal the future. But tomorrow the streets will speak. Now I want to speak about a great heresy and reclaim the Christ of love. Now I speak to my family in Christ. I speak as one who knows the presence. We must take our religion and our faith back. We have seen our cross kidnapped by Christian nationalists who worship a Christ of cruelty. They preach a gospel of holy war and selfishness, a total lack of empathy for the least of these. The MAGA movement has made of Donald Trump a false messiah. They have replaced the Lamb of God with a golden calf of grievances. And to my brothers and sisters in the Christian Zionist and dispensationalist camps, stop. You seek to trigger Armageddon? Well, first of all, you've misunderstood the book of Revelations, but for now, I will speak to you where you are. You think you can force an all-powerful God to do what you want when you want? You think you can bomb your way into the second coming? You think you can force Jesus to come back when you want and not at the appointed time which no man knows? That's not just pride. That's not just arrogance and hubris. It is blasphemy. Jesus returns at his appointed time, not yours. As candidate for Texas Senate James Tallarico has said, quote, "There is nothing Christian about Christian nationalism." He reminds us that Christ is the immigrant deported without due process. Christ is the senior deprived of their Social Security benefits. Christ is the protester kidnapped in an unmarked vehicle by plainclothes officers. As his grandfather told him, we follow a barefoot Jewish rabbi who was once a refugee and who gave us 2 commandments. Love God and love your neighbor, because there is no love of God without love of neighbor. I want to turn now to the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus' words in the Beatitudes. And let's look at the behavior of Trump's supporters and the behavior of Trump himself. Do they honor Jesus' words? They call themselves Christians, but do they follow the Beatitudes? Where is the Sermon on the Mount in MAGA? Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Does that sound like MAGA? Isn't it more like, blessed are the alphas, for they shall dominate the weak? As the news items of constant mockery of the vulnerable, the disabled, and those who ask for just basic dignity show us? Jesus said, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Does that sound like MAGA? More like, blessed are those who inflict mourning and drink liberal tears, for they shall find joy in the pain of others, and great will be their laughter at others' expense. And we have only to look at his rallies where cruelty is celebrated as strength. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. MAGA never read that one. Blessed are the bullies, for they shall seize the earth by force. Maybe blessed are the bullies, for they shall rape the earth. Think of the revenge retribution lists and the targeting of civil servants, deliberately trying to make them so miserable that they don't want to come to work. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled." Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Does that sound like MAGA? Or maybe this instead. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for greed, for they will commit crimes and face no consequences. Jesus said, "Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy." Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Does that sound like MAGA? Does MAGA follow that? Does MAGA follow Jesus' words, or do they follow Trump's? Blessed are the cruel, for the cruelty is the point. As we see in the CCOT prison camps and the caging of families, Jesus said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God." Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. MAGA? I think not. MAGA is more like, "Blessed are the loyal sycophants who lay their hearts on Trump's altar, for they will be spared his wrath." Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Does that sound like MAGA? Or does this? Blessed are the warmongers, for their defense stocks increase with every schoolgirl killed. Blessed are the warmongers, for their defense stocks increase with every schoolgirl killed. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Does that sound like something you'd hear at a Trump rally? Wouldn't this be more likely? Blessed are those who persecute the righteous, because they're too woke, and they make me feel guilty for the pettiness of my heart. True Christianity is not about fear, hate, blame, or vengeance. It is about a radical love that treats the prisoner and the poor as the face of God. The least of these, the immigrant and the indigenous, as the one we profess to follow, Jesus. Before we move into the spiritual heart of this message, I want us to take a moment. Tomorrow we go to the streets. We don't go with hate. We go with love. We don't go with a warlike mind. We go with a peaceful, resolute spirit. Close your eyes if you are in a safe place. Sit tall. Inhale through the nose. For 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath at the top, feeling the 5D golden light filling your lungs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the mouth for 4 counts, releasing the fear, releasing the grievance. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath at the top, feeling the 5D golden light filling your lungs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the mouth for 4 counts, releasing the fear, releasing the grievance. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue this rhythm. As you breathe, visualize the Christiansted Bypass Overlook. See hundreds of people standing not in anger, but in a calm, immovable truth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in peace. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out war. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. Breathe in courage. 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath at the top, feeling the 5D golden light filling your lungs and your whole body. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the mouth, breathing out fear. 2, 3, 4. Releasing the fear, releasing the grievance. Inhale, breathe in peace. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out war. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in courage. 2, 3, 4. 5D light. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out fear. 2, 3, 4. We are not fighting against people. We are not fighting against people. We are standing for the Christ light of community. Let your heart soften so that your voice can be strong. We go as peaceful warriors for the soul of the Republic. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts, breathing in peace. 2, 3, 4. Hold that peaceful rainbow light. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out war through the mouth. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in courage through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold that golden 5D light. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in courage. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out fear. 2, 3, 4. Feel your heartbeat syncing with the heartbeat of the earth. You are safe. You are powerful. You are the Christ light of community. Gently return your awareness to the room. We move forward now, centered in love. I want to talk now about the resurrection of the Republic. Because after the crucifixion came the resurrection, and that was not a resurrection to the status quo ante. Jesus was in a new state, beyond what he had been. He did not go back to what he was before, and neither should we. So let's consider the Babylon system versus the kingdom. We must realize that this false Christianity is being used to divide us. It keeps us looking horizontally, blaming each other for our struggles instead of looking up together at the 1% and the billionaire elites. They are the problem. Our current system is an antichrist system, a Babylon system. It is falling apart now because everyone can see now how corrupt it is, that it serves only a handful of people. They have everything not because they earned it, but because they stole it. Remember the findings of the European Commission that, unlike our government, studied the Epstein files and concluded that Epstein was a part of a vast global criminal conspiracy that committed crimes which meet the definition legally of crimes against humanity and exerted, quote, an outsized influence on world affairs for the past 20 years at least. They are war profiteers who start wars so they can profit from them. Sociopaths who commit genocide to get the beachfront property. Psychopaths who consider the rest of us mere animals to be used and abused, especially young girls. But they are more than just thieves and rapists. They are also consummate con artists who have tricked us into believing they earned what they have and that that's just the way the world is. Tricked us into accepting it and going along. But we don't have to accept it, and we don't have to go along. If we reshaped our country in accordance with true Christianity, with love, forgiveness, and community, there would be more than enough for everyone. We could have free health care, education for all, abundant housing, and no child in the United States would ever go hungry. We could all be free from lack and struggle and strife and fear. This is within the power of our choice. The chaos we see now is just the desperate attempt of the elite to stay in control. Do not fall for it. This upcoming Holy Week is highly symbolic. On Sunday, the palms will be laid down. We remember the crucifixion. Right now, the United States is being crucified. Our values are being pierced. But Saturday is when the work happens. Saturday, tomorrow, is the day we wait, we organize, and we prepare. So show up tomorrow. Here on St. Croix, be at the Christian Stead Bypass Overlook from 9:30 to 11:30. Be the largest voice this country has ever heard. Send the message that we will not be subjects, we will be citizens. And on Sunday, we celebrate Palm Sunday, Jesus' entrance into Jerusalem, not as a king, not as a political figure, but as a transformative one. The people of Minnesota showed us how it's done. No leaders. You cannot name a single leader of the movement in Minnesota that made ICE leave and got Bovino and Noem fired. It was the community. A community of servants, a community of people coming together in transformative Christian love for one another, having each other's backs, watching out for their neighbors and for each other. They reclaimed Jesus from the cruel distortions of Christian nationalism end times Armageddon and right-wing vengeance and grievance-oriented MAGA Christianity. Even those who didn't consider themselves Christian, because they chose love over fear. They chose a truth that cannot be buried. The truth that love wins, justice rolls down like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream, and the people shall be free. No kings, no crowns, only the Constitution and community. Be there. Tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. at the Christiansted Bypass Overlook. My fellow children of the sun, our time together today is drawing to a close. But our work is only beginning. We have named the darkness. We have unmasked the 12 pillars of tyranny, and we have reclaimed the holy beatitudes from the hands of the warmongers. But remember, truth without love is just a clanging cymbal, and love without truth is just a hollow sentiment. As you leave your radios today and step back into the world, carry the sacred breath with you. Remember that every breath you take is a vote for life over death, for community over crowns. We are not merely fighting a symbol, we are outshining it. The Babylon system is falling because it is built on the sand of greed. and the kingdom of love is built on the rock of our shared humanity. Tomorrow, Saturday, March 28th, we stand together. Whether you're at the Christiansted Bypass Overlook from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. or standing in spirit from your own home, know that you are part of a rising tide that no wall can contain. We go not as warriors of hate, but as messengers of a barefoot rabbi who taught us that the greatest power in the universe is the power to lay down our fear and help our neighbor. May the peace that passeth all understanding guard your hearts and your minds. May you walk with the strength of the ancestors and the vision of the fifth dimension. And may you wake up tomorrow knowing that the resurrection of the Republic is already happening within you. No kings, no crowns, only the Constitution and community. Breathe deep, stay in the light, and I will see you at the Overlook. Good night, and God bless.